Welcome, everybody, to podcast 14 of the Black Dog Confessional.
14,
I know.
dude. Right. I'm really digging like the new Skinner intro there.
I know, it's very Southern rock of us.
I'm a fan of it.
Yeah,
doesn't exactly fit you and whatever you want to claim to be your heritage or your wherever you're from this week.
Chris is already starting. He's already starting. He feels spunky today. That's a good word for
right
him.
off the bat.
Right off the bat.
You know, he just goes right in. So as always, Redbird is here. We also have another guest today. We have Chris Gallo with us, and I'm going to start off by telling a story. I'm going to be an idiot in the story, which is going to make Redbird very happy.
Shocker.
So it was a few years back. Gallo and I were working together, and I remember I saw him in the hallway, and I said, "Hey, bro, how's things going?" And he goes, man, I have breast cancer." And I said, "Shut the fuck up. Shut up, man. You don't have breast cancer. Don't joke about things like that." Thinking in my mind that only women can get breast cancer. I had no clue that men could get breast cancer. And here I am at 35, 36 years old, something like that. And I was like, I'm an idiot. At 35 years, I've lived this life, and I had no clue that men could get breast cancer. And Chris sat down, and he was kind of started to explain the whole thing to me. And I was stunned. I had no clue. And that's kind of like where I wanted to start when Chris finally got his diagnosis, and how that impacted his life and where he took it from there. Because quite honestly, following Chris over the last few years has been a very inspiring thing for a lot of people, including myself. And so when I heard he was interested in coming on the podcast, I was like, heck yeah.
Yeah, that's my get.
That is your get. That is
another good one for me.
Cardinal did something. No.
But going back to that, the surprising thing is you're not the only one. I've told so many people I had breast cancer, and they don't joke like that. Come on, cut it out. So people don't know. And that's what I try to do, too, is make sure people know men can get breast cancer, because the problem is the majority of men with it don't know they have it, and they end up dying from it because it's late stage.
Gotcha.
So early detection is everything.
So let's go back. What year was it?
5 years ago, so that would be 2014.
Okay,
yeah.
And
wow, that long ago already.
Yeah. It's crazy, I know.
Yeah, I just hit my 5-year mark last month.
Congratulations.
So, absolutely.
Thank you.
So what made you go to the doctor? Like, what was...
Yeah, started off... Yeah.
All right, 5 years ago, maybe it was probably November, December 13, I felt a lump in my chest. A little lump, no big deal. Asked my wife, "Hey, look at this." She's like, "I wouldn't worry about it." So I was like, all right, no big deal. So, but in my mind, for some reason, it kept bothering me. And like every day when I was working, I'd reach under my vest and I'd be like, weird. Ingrown hair, what's going on? I don't know. Not going away. So then about March, I showed my wife again. And I guess she felt it, and she felt it was larger, which I didn't recognize it being larger because I was feeling it every day.
Yeah.
So I immediately went to the doctor. And sitting in that doctor's office, he examined me. He took his cell phone out of his pocket, and this was the scary part, out of his pocket, and called and set up for a mammogram. Right there, like that. Like, hey, personal phone call, doctor to doctor, I need this guy in here right now. So it was like...
That's crazy.
Wow. It was shocking.
Like, because in your mind, I mean, when somebody calls and picks up for you to go to a mammogram, what were you thinking? I mean, like, right off the bat.
Right off the bat, I was like, it's got to be breast cancer. Which, 20 minutes before that appointment, wasn't even in my mind.
Yeah.
Because, like you, I guess I didn't rule it out that men can get breast cancer, but I just never thought men could get breast cancer. It's just not... Well, I'm going to go even further right now. I think it's the advertisement. They sell it as a woman's disease. Mm-hmm. So nobody looks at it as men, like the American Cancer Society, Coleman, all of those big corporate people sell it as a woman's disease, and I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, so 5 years ago I would have been 35. Mm-hmm. And 35 years old, no clue. You blew my mind. You blew my mind that day. And I remember sitting in my office being like, grabbing my phone and starting to Google male breast cancer, because I was like, is this as deadly as, women's breast cancer? Does it have the same effect?
You do the same treatments. You got to go.
Well, here's the other problem is it's such 1% of all breast cancer this year will be in men. So nobody looks at it. Only 33% of clinical trials will include men. So that's 77% will not include
67.
men in there. 67.
Sorry,
Thank
buddy.
you.
There you go.
It's all right.
Chris,
Quick math. I'm
all right.
trying. You got me nervous here, sweating on camera.
Here's the thing.
know?
Chris will shock you with his mathematical skills, but like he'll pull things out and be like, "That's oh," and you're like, he'll come out with some crazy number. You could be like, "Chris, what's 50 times 700 million?" And you'd be like, "Oh, that's easy." Like not even thinking about it. And you're like, Rain Man, what card should I pick? We got the Preakness coming up.
Common Core man.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
I
That's all right. So you
step.
estimated. You were right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Which horse should we bet on in the Preakness, Chris? You know, like
Well, they ran yesterday, so it's pointless now.
oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh,
should've
God,
took
I
that
don't know.
I know. I should have.
You should have.
I know.
That was a winner right
Yeah.
there.
All right. So you go to the doctor. Doctor says, "I'm gonna set you up for a mammogram."
Set me up for a mammogram, so I think a day or two. So this was, I could go, well, no, I can't because I don't remember that day. But it was like within 2 days he had me in for a mammogram ultrasound. And then that was another one where, they had no poker face. So I'm laying there talking to this girl about Boston Terriers because I got a little Boston, and she had pictures up. So she's doing her thing. And
Boston Terrier's a bigger dog than a Chihuahua, Steve. Stop. Stop. You still have a little rat dogs. All right, that Gallows isn't that much bigger, but it's at least
25 pounds.
Okay, see, that's respectable to carry around. Your two dogs together don't weigh 15 pounds.
I don't think they weigh 10 pounds together. But
Yeah. All right, so
she doesn't. We're having this nice conversation, and I guess she sees her image and just loses it, like stops, like serious face. I'm like, "What's up?" She's like, yeah, no, it's all right." I'm like,
wait for the doctor.
yeah,
that's
wait for the
right.
doctor.
That ain't all right. So that was the second clue. But then it was this was in March. So I remember exactly because it was March 14th. I was up in Bike Week at Daytona at the Chopper Show, and the doctor's office called me. It's a Thursday afternoon. Doctor's office calls me, says, "Hey, you have to be in the office tomorrow morning." And I said, "For what?" "Oh, no, the doctor has to see you in the morning." I said, "Well, I'm up in Daytona for Bike Week. I'm here for the weekend." "No, he has to see you." I'm like, "I'm not coming back." And she's like, "I'll call you right back." So in this mix of calls, she calls my wife. But then they call me back, and they're like pressing, "You got to come in tomorrow morning." I'm like, "I'm not coming in." Now, I know already. You know, I know they're giving me bad news. But I'm thinking, why can't this wait till Monday morning?
Yeah.
What am I going to do with this all weekend now, right? All weekend I'm going to be stirring in my head, going crazy. Well, they call my wife. So what's my wife do?
You went in on Friday, didn't you?
No, I actually got to stay for the weekend, which was awesome. But she went to the doctor's office, and now they're calling me back and saying, "Hey, can we talk to your wife about this?" I said, "Yeah, but just realize I'm not coming home till Sunday night." So they told her the news, and that was March 14th. By April 22nd, I was having surgery.
Right now, talk about the surgery.
Yeah, so talk about like the treatment steps, go through that.
So from there, I had a full bilateral mastectomy. So they removed all the breast tissue on both sides. And after that, I went through.
Now, is that so that in case it has spread, they can get rid of everything?
Yep.
Now, why do they do it on both sides? So it's even, or they're concerned?
No, I'm also positive for a genetic gene.
Okay.
So with basically the mutation I had, my age being a male, and the genetic gene, the risk of it coming back is pretty high.
So more preventative? Because
Yeah,
I've heard of girls doing that if it runs in their family and they've got this gene, that they just go ahead and just get their breasts removed and then have some implants put in to come back and to just avoid it.
But no, they did it because it just all the circumstances all together. They figured this is the best way to go.
And you're already going under the knife, so you figure might as well bang it out all at once rather than have to deal with it again later.
Yeah. I was gonna say I should have got some big implants.
Yeah.
Put up there and play
should
with.
have gotten some
But
I'd be like, oh god, like that would have, that face showing up with that beard. I'm like, oh god.
Probably would have made some money on some
Fish
website.
out, skip the
they're
game.
not
So
for
we'll-
you, right? But then after that, I had I want to say it was 16 weeks of chemotherapy treatments, which between the surgery and the chemo really kicked my ass. I mean, I was...
How long after the surgery did they start chemo?
Honestly, I don't even remember that. I want to say it was within a month.
Okay.
But it really kicked my ass.
And those aren't 16 every day, 16
No,
weeks,
that
right?
was once every 2 weeks.
So eight treatments?
8 treatments, yeah. But it was pretty strong stuff, too. I couldn't tell you the exact names, but it was like this. They called it the Red Devil. So the actual clinical names, I don't know because I don't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But,
Red Devils.
That's in the news right now.
That's
because there's
okay.
some.
We don't want to hear the bad news about it.
No, it's hair loss.
Oh,
so I guess
I
one
think
of the
my hair is thinning from it too.
I guess some of the side effects of it is that your hair won't grow back. It's not just that you lose your hair; it's that it won't grow back. So I saw on the news there's a couple ladies in Orlando who are suing the manufacturer because it wasn't one of the. It wasn't explained that it was explained hair loss, but not permanent hair loss.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, that was the only. That was it.
Okay.
Because obviously on our promo picture that we put out, you had no hair whatsoever.
I think that was in the middle of chemo right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were bald, you had no eyebrows, no beard.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. You find with no hair, no beard, once the eyebrows are gone, that's when you look funny. Really, you think about it.
So you say funny. I think to all of us that were watching, it was an inspiration because, I've known you now for almost 15 years.
Yep.
And to see you going through that, but then to see your update posts of how you're doing and that you're carrying on and that, hey, this is treatment number 6 and I'm kicking this thing's ass. This is number 7. That gave us all inspiration that you were gonna just womp this thing and not have a problem with it.
I tell you,
I wouldn't say silly. I mean, again,
well, to me,
right,
because
but
the way I look at it, women, they can take a pencil in their eyebrows and they don't look so sick. How's that?
Okay.
Better word?
Gotcha.
Because I felt I looked okay until my eyebrows were gone. When my eyebrows were gone, I felt like I looked sick.
Okay. So is that was that like a mental thing for you? Like the mindset of now I look like I sick. Are people gonna look at me different?
No. I just felt I looked when the eyebrows were gone. It looked funky,
Gotcha.
But I felt like shit. Like I said, I tried my best to stay positive the whole time through, which I did.
Right.
Yeah.
But it really did kick my ass. I mean, I felt like crap. The pains associated with that chemo and.
Now, how do they? Is it just a straight IV and it's just an infusion that you get,
no,
or
I
how
had
do they
an
do
infusion port.
Okay.
They took it out, which is great. I got it in a little jar on my dresser. One day I might make a little necklace out of it. But
so they pump the medicine in through there, and you're in a bed for
2 hours in a chair. Yeah, 2-3 hours,
and then just feel like shit after that.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
So now just chemo or chemo radiation?
From there I went to
16 weeks of chemo.
They call it 32 treatments of radiation, but it's really 37 because there's like 5 booster ones they call it.
Okay.
And so I went from the chemo to the radiation, 37 treatments of radiation, which is every day, once a day. So, but it takes 2 minutes to radiate you, but it takes like 15 minutes to set you up on the table.
Right.
And that thing, man, I was burnt like a fried chicken. My skin was blistered, peeling.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Now, none of that stuff, I know that there are some cancers that they can give you chemo in a pill and you have to be quarantined and stuff. Were you quarantined or were you allowed to go home to the family?
Nope, I was never quarantined. I was home every day. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now,
and even now I'm still, since then I've been on a hormone therapy, which I'm supposed to be on for 5 more years, but we're going to find out tomorrow because I actually have an appointment, 6-month checkup with my oncologist tomorrow morning. And I'm supposed to be on I've been on one hormone therapy, and they want to switch it after 5 years was the original plan. But
did you do all your treatments local, or did you go to Moffitt, or where were you doing?
I went to Moffitt for my surgery, and while I was at Moffitt talking to Dr. Kylick, who is an amazing surgeon. He just bedside manner, everything. And that's I'm going to go step back a little bit because I'm not used to all this, but. So, before I had anything done, I had like 5 different consultations to figure out where I'm going to go, what doctor I'm going to see. I'm not going to name exactly where they were or who I went to see, but local, Orlando area, and Moffitt. Everywhere I went except for Moffitt, I would walk in these waiting rooms, and everybody looked sick and unhappy, and like it was death's waiting room, which scared the shit out of me.
I bet.
When I went to Moffitt, no matter how sick the people looked walking around there, they were all smiling. And that just like resonated with me, and I said, this is where I need to go.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, was there any fight with insurance to get it done there, or did they say these are the people you can go to? Or?
No fight with insurance. Here goes step back again.
Right.
Through this whole thing, my wife Jennifer, amazing. When they say for sickness and health, for best and worst, she was there. She did it. She took care of everything. She called everybody. She wrote down. She's got notebooks of every doctor I talked to, everything they told me. So support, amazing.
That's
I give
awesome.
her all the credit. Like, you give him all the credit.
Oh yeah,
So
I
no,
support
I
Steve.
have to mention her because
he's the Sonny to my Cher.
yeah, exactly.
All right, well that's good. You can be the girl. I'm all right with that.
So,
Wait, am I gonna die in a skiing accident now? Is that what's gonna happen here?
You may die in a fishing accident because I'll push you off the boat.
Yeah.
but yeah, she was amazing at setting things up and dealing with the insurance and dealing with setting appointments up and everything. So, but I met with John Kylick, Dr. Kylick at Moffitt, and he told me what his plan, pretty much in line with 2 or 3 other doctors' plans, and I thought it sounded good because what do I know? I'm in shock because they told me I have cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, what do I do? You know.
Now, other than like the mental aspect and now knowing that you have cancer, did you start to feel any? Were you getting sick? Was there anything, headaches or anything else that would have said? Had you not found the lump, were there any other signs that could have let you know that you had anything?
I did get some sharp shooting pains, like
In
random,
your breast, or
in my
just-
breast,
okay.
like random, just like sharp shooting pain. That's all. I don't
But
know how
that's
to,
it.
like an electrical shock pain almost.
Right.
And it was weird, but it was just very random. And then also going back because there is some symptoms and signs of male breast cancer. But my nipple did start inverting.
Did it?
Which is a sign. Inverted nipple is
Well,
a
let's-
sign from
Let's
male
get to the
breast
signs
cancer.
and stuff. Jesse wants to take a break, so let's
Okay.
take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about the signs and symptoms that you went
Yeah,
through
absolutely.
to finish
Sounds
up
good.
your treatment and what you're doing now to raise awareness.
Awesome.
Hey there, this is Jesse Hull, and I want to remind you to tune into Business Elite Brevard Edition. And what we do on Business Elite Brevard Edition is bring to you some of the biggest movers and shakers on the Space Coast. These could be industry leaders, tech innovators, and social influencers. And what we do is kind of bring them on, ask them some of the most relevant questions that you may not know about. And these are people who may not be in the news, but they are making moves behind the scenes. Again, tune in. Business Elite Brevard Edition.
Hey, make sure you check out Space Cowboy Justice with your hosts, Blake Stewart and Paul Daly. We're going to be talking about interesting legal issues in the entertainment industry and everything geek. If you're into Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, comic books, we're talking about it. Coming at you from the Space Coast Podcast Studios.
You're listening to Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com.
Space Coast Podcast.
Talk hard!
All right.
You
we
done
are
messing
back.
with your GoPro now? Can
was-
we get the show back rolling?
Yeah. Gosh, Chris.
I know. It's squirrel. Look, I gotta mess with this now. We take like a 2-minute break. You could have messed with it. Just hey, we're coming back. Oh, let me get my GoPro out.
Well, you were actually talking about something important. I was like paying attention to what you were saying. That was me giving you the attention I felt you deserved.
Oh,
that
thank
was
you.
my mistake.
Thank you. Yeah.
You go everywhere with that selfie stick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just say
pretty
yes.
much.
Okay.
Pretty much. It's not a selfie stick. It's a GoPro.
It's same thing, bro.
So back to the symptom aspect of it. Let's
back
talk
to
about it.
some of the signs of male breast cancer. Like I said, I had a lump and I started getting an inverted nipple. But, swelling and redness and nipple discharge are some of the other things. So these are things I like to say out loud so people hear them and
Yeah.
can be aware of it. And that inverted nipple, and that lets you know.
So, but other than just being basically located to your breast, you didn't have headaches, you weren't nauseous, there's nothing else that really
No,
pinged?
not that I can
That you can-
associate with
right.
it. You know what I mean? They could have been, but I don't remember.
Because I think a lot of people think about, I'm sick, I must have these symptoms. I have a fever, my stomach's messed up.
No,
Like,
like I said, it was that lump pretty much.
Just talk closer to the mic a
Okay,
little bit.
it was that lump, And, like I said, I had them random shooting pains, but did I associate with that? I'm getting old.
Yeah.
Right.
But I really wasn't that old. I was 43 years old when I was diagnosed.
That's
so
young.
That's young. But, so I don't know what's going on.
But now you're 48, so now you're old.
Now I'm 48, so I'm old.
Now
Right.
you're old.
So you originally go through all your treatments. You get to the point where now you're moving towards recovery, like full recovery.
So, moving towards full recovery. So let's talk about, I go through all those treatments. I want to say I ended, like my treatments ended right at the end of the year. Ended December, beginning of January.
So we're talking about a fairly quick process from the time you're diagnosed or the time you go see the doctor in March, and by November, December,
I'm done.
You're done.
Yeah.
If everything's good.
Right. If everything's good. So, yeah. So fairly quick.
Yeah.
So from there, I start my recovery, right? But I was down for, I want to say, at least 6 months where I was just knocked out. I couldn't, no strength, no energy, I was just done. You know what I mean? I was tired. I was sick. And I really felt it, So
You're talking about 6 months post everything.
Post everything, yeah. So I just couldn't. I mean, I wasn't at work at all. I was still out of work. I wasn't at work light duty yet, and then I finally went back light duty, and I started going to physical therapy and occupational therapy to get some movement because everything's tight now.
Mm-hmm.
So what they have you doing there, like band movements, like stretching?
Yeah, they would. Well, the other thing associated with when you get a mastectomy and they remove lymph nodes, because I had 2 positive lymph nodes, so they have to take a clear area, so they removed 28 lymph nodes. So now associated with that is lymphedema, which is the lymph system is a fluid system in your body. Basically, they call it almost like the drainage system of the body. So it pulls all your toxins and all your junk.
Okay.
So it's like the sewer system of the body. So, but the problem is when they remove those lymph nodes, it cuts the flow off. So then you could get swelling.
Okay.
And so with that swelling, if you don't take care of it right away, it never goes away. So physical therapy and lymphedema or preventive massage is what they do. So they got to massage it and keep those fluids moving manually.
More meds too, or just
no, not meds.
Okay.
Just all manual lymphedema massage they call it. So I had to go for that, and that was one of the main reasons I was going to physical therapy. That and try to get my range of motion back.
Mm-hmm.
So when I work out, like lift weights, which I haven't been, so I have to wear a compression sleeve on this arm, which is a medical grade compression. It's not like what you see the basketball guys playing with. So it's kind of tight and uncomfortable, but
you only have to wear that when you're going to do strenuous.
What I'm doing when I first started, like right after, I had to wear it every day.
Right.
But then kind of weaned off of it, kind of.
On both arms or just the...
Well, when I first started, because they did remove lymph nodes from this side, too, just to see if there was any cancer spread there, but it was clear. So they only took, I think, 2 out on this side.
Okay.
So that the risk of it wasn't that bad. But when I first started, I had one sleeve on each arm.
Now, a question. Obviously, you had the double bilateral mastectomy.
Mm-hmm.
What as far you probably removed a bunch of muscle, removed everything.
No, I don't think I don't know if they removed a bunch of muscle. It feels a little different, but I think they cut into some of the muscle, kind of.
It's a no nipple thing too.
And no nipples.
Yeah. That's why they feel different.
You can't beat that. But so I don't think they removed muscle.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I never actually asked them.
So were you able to feel like you were back up to the normal strength eventually that you had?
Probably better.
I mean, I gotta tell you, I worked with you beforehand, and then I see what you've done after, and I'm like, gosh, man, freaking Gallo's out there running all these races.
I was never this active.
Yeah.
Never in my life. I mean, I played high school football, wrestling, and hockey. After high school, I did nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, once in a while, Thanksgiving weekend, we'd have a football game, and that was it.
Right.
So I would never consider myself an athlete. I didn't do much,
So what sparked you? You were sick for those 6 months, and you were kind of come back. What sparked you to be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start running. I'm going to do all these different things.
Going to physical therapy and learning more about cancers and, an active lifestyle prevents cancer, plain and simple. And the physical therapy place I go to, which is Doctors of Women's Health, but in that the men's part is blue, so they see men too. But they got me active. They made me start walking. Said, I want you to walk at a mile a day. I'd walk down to Cocoa. I lived by Cocoa Village, so I'd walk down to Cocoa Village and back, and that was about 2 miles, but it would take me about 2 hours, 3 hours to do that walk. So that started me. And then the Doctors of Women's Health, which is also, well, I'm getting a little lost here. So.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
You had a lot go on over a short amount of time, so trust us.
So going back, Doctors of Women's Health, which is another amazing office here. They're local here in Melbourne. They have For the Girls Scholarship Fund, which helps pay for cancer patients' treatments, physical therapy treatments, and compression garments for people that can't pay for them. So when I was going through and I started going to physical therapy, the insurance company said, well, that's it. You met all your appointments for the year. We're not paying for it anymore. So that For the Girls Scholarship Fund picked it up for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And covered me through the rest of the year. So I support them. I don't know. You see my run pictures. I always have a For the Girl shirt on. So with that, they were doing their 5K. And I don't know if you were out there. Were you out there a couple years ago, Melbourne? No? Wickham Park, they did a 5K.
No, I've only done the Light Fest ones there. I like the Light Fest. Right. It's a pretty run.
So
when I get tired, I can just stop and stare at the lights and be like, no, I'm not tired. I'm just taking in this nice light display right here.
I did one run there, and I did it with my dad, and my dad left me in the dust. And at some point, I just stopped with an 80-year-old woman and threw up, and then I just kept going.
So the therapist there actually challenged me to do the 5K. And that's how it all started.
And so we're talking how long do you think it was after post everything's done and you're saying you're tired, so 6 months or so after that, but like after your last radiation till you're doing a 5K, 3.2
I would say about
miles.
a year and a half.
That's impressive.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So that first 5K I did, I remember it took me for like 44 minutes to do that 5K.
It's a good time though.
So, well, the one I ran with you 2 weeks ago, 23:58. So
What did you do it in, Chris?
Huh?
What did you do it in?
54 minutes.
So,
I also ran with a 5-year-old.
Yeah, he was pushing a kid.
Yeah.
You'll know what that's like.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what that's like.
I'm gonna do it with a baby Bjorn though.
I will tell you, we did the run and we started at Sandpoint Park. You run around the park and then you go over the Max Brewer Bridge. And I thought maybe that was where it ended. But no, and then I thought maybe, okay, well, it's just at the bottom of the bridge and we'll turn around and come back up. No, you get to the bottom of the bridge and you got to go like another 1/8 of a mile down. Then you got to turn around and come back. And so I'm going up the bridge with I think I was with the 9-year-old. I was with Kinley at the time. And as I'm going up, here comes Gallo back down. I mean, and I'm like, oh, well, man, he's kicking my ass. And then he's looking, he's like, you see that little kid up there? I'm not losing that little kid up there.
You're right. Yeah. There was a little kid, probably 10.
Yeah, 10 or 11.
Running in front of me with his shoe untied, just running along.
He's just running.
And I'm huffing it. I'm trying to get it. And this kid, I'm like, I will not let him beat me. He came in behind me.
That's how I felt about that 80-year-old woman, too. I beat her in the end.
Just a couple of seconds, but he was behind me. So actually, I've become really good friends with Dr. Sherry there at Doctors of Women's Health, and that's who I run with all the time.
That's awesome.
And, she is one that wants to see people get better and succeed.
That's awesome.
I just, any chance I get, we run with together. We go, now I've graduated pretty much to half marathons. This is what we've been running a lot. And
so 13 miles, 13.1.
Last weekend, and I'm not trying to brag because
no brag,
no,
dude,
brag. Do it.
Last Saturday I did a 25K in Fort Pierce or Fort Pierce.
So 16, right around 16
right
miles.
Around 16 miles. And then Sunday morning I did the
mathematical wizard.
The Cocoa Beach half marathon on the beach.
On the beach.
Gosh.
On the beach. So
did you run it barefoot?
No, I don't.
You're not hardcore like that. My
No.
friend Kristen, she works with Lee Brevard. She runs all these beach races barefoot.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, no, I'm not a barefoot
They say that's better.
They say it absolutely is better for you.
yeah, it's just
So
I know what it's like to walk on the beach, let alone can you
Run.
imagine
Well,
running?
Again, you got to build up to it.
Yeah,
Your
most
feet
of those
have to
people
get-
run everywhere barefoot. It's
Right.
not just on the beach. Barefoot runners are barefoot runners. They'll just everywhere they go.
There's like Steve DeShong. Like, he's a distance runner.
Yep.
And like the dude would go run 100 miles, and you'd be like,
Deshaun used to go do the Melbourne Marathon or Space Coast Marathon, wherever that was. He would run from his house there, which was like 10 miles, then just join the marathon, run the marathon, and then just, jog home like it was nothing.
I've never seen a guy run like that, but I'm telling you, I remember one day he said he was going to go run to Orlando. And he ran to Orlando, and that night when we came back to work, he had been running the entire day, and he ran all the way back to Brevard.
Well, him and my friend Hernan, while I was going through treatments, did the Keys 100.
Yes.
And they kind of did it in my honor.
That's
when
awesome.
they did it.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
I know Hernan well.
Oh, you know Hernan? Yeah. So, yeah, they 100-mile run. Just let's go.
Yeah, you listen to some of these ultra marathoners like that, and it makes me realize how pathetic I am. But then to listen to them talk, and they're running these 200-mile races. They've got the Bigfoot 200 or something, or the Moab. It's like the Moab 240 or something that they run over 3 days. And you talk to the girl who won it, and she took like 2 naps, and they were like 30-second naps while she's running for 2 days.
I don't even know how to take a 30-second nap. That's
but when you're that sleep deprived, she's like 30 seconds feels like you slept for days.
You know how that is when you're in class,
Especially Steve's class.
Yeah. Shut your face. All right, we'll be right back. Jesse's gonna take us to break real quick, and then I want to touch more on what you've done as things have developed and where you found strength from,
and what we're doing.
Absolutely.
All right.
The Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com.
Space Coast Podcast.
Talk hard!
Jesse, have you ever wondered what is the best way to interview applicants for your open position so you have the best chance of hiring a keeper?
All the time.
Well, I talk to managers every day, Jesse, that use their gut instinct to make a hire. Sometimes that works out, but more times than not, it can lead to a bad hire. Replacing a poor hire can be expensive and hurt morale. One of our most popular service offerings at HR Office Savers is teaching employers how to be better interviewers. Improved interviewing techniques lead to better hiring, which leads to better employee retention, which leads to less turnover and more profit. Contact me today to find out how you can learn to be a better interviewer. I can be reached online at www.hrofficesavers.com or by phone 928-308-4506. Again, that's 928-308-4506. 928-308-4506.
Are you new to a leadership position? Are you finding it hard to deal with certain personalities in the workplace? Maybe you're trying to reshape your organizational culture to increase your retention, your readiness, as well as your performance of your individuals on your team. Hi, I'm Stephen Williams with Highbull Leadership and Development Training. I welcome you to contact me to kind of explore some things that we can do to help you with your people needs. We're in the business of human capital performance on the professional side as well as the personal side. If you're looking for a motivational speaker to open up your convention, contact StephanWilliams.com. If you're looking for someone that's going to help you redefine your own personal leadership style, contact StephanWilliams.com. If you're just looking to take your team to the next level, contact StephanWilliams.com, and that is STEPHON Williams.com. Highbull Leadership Development Training. We look forward to seeing, hearing, and working with you.
And we are back.
Yeah, dude, you just get in your own little world, and you're just staring off, nodding at the music. Jesse's over there trying to give you a little signal to come back, and you're just...
I told you, I didn't wake up until...
And then if I go do it, then you get all mad. Dude, that's my job. What are you doing?
I've never said that.
I do the intros and the outros.
I have
You
never
only
said
do them
that.
on special occasions.
It is not your birthday, Christopher. Know your role.
But what do you want me to do? And you're over there going,
Know your role,
this is good
Christopher.
music, man. Listen to that bass line. Yeah. Oh, squirrel, podcast.
I've had a lot of head injuries over the year. I'm sorry. So getting back, you've been running these crazy races. You've been doing all this stuff. What you found motivation during all this treatment? You found a strength in you that. Where did that come from?
I don't know. I didn't know it was there. I just felt like, I have to do everything I can do to prevent this disease from coming back. And I think that's what it was. I'm going to call them young kids, but growing up quick. But I got kids. I love my wife. I want to be there. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure this doesn't come back. And if that means I got to wake up early every day and go run 3 to 5 miles, that's what I'm going to do.
I will tell you, because, again, I've known Chris for almost 15 years. And when we first met, we used to have to run a bunch. And neither one of us were great runners, and where other people...
I'm still not a great runner, so...
23-minute 5K is impressive. That's good. So, but where other guys or girls in the group would want to stop, even not being the fastest, Chris, there is no give up in his mind. At least, like I said, for the 15 years I've known him, there never has been that. So I think he already was able to. I think you were already able to draw on that going through this. Knowing that there is no quit. You don't. That word is, from the time I've known you, is not a word in your vocabulary.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. If I decide I'm going to do something, I'm doing it. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to make sure it's done. Unless it's housework.
Yeah. But one thing you were talking about earlier was how supportive your wife was. I mean, that's got to be a motivator. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, just to have that type of support and everything that you're going through,
not only my wife, my friends, my family. You guys were there. I mean, the way people came out to help me and to support me was just truly mind-blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that, again, that's just a testament to the man you are. Well, because if you were not, if you're somebody who's not well liked, I think the support is still there somewhat. But because I know that if I was going through the same thing, that I would get messages from you or phone calls or a text or a "Hey asshole, how you doing?" from you. I'm going to give that to you. I know that if I'm going through that and I post something on Facebook, even if it's just that little blue button,
that's right.
I know that I'm going to get that. It's going to pop up and it's going to say Chris Gallo liked your comment.
And to go through it when I'm going through my treatments and I'm posting it on there and I see the people commenting and liking it and supporting it. That like you said, where did I find it? Through that support. I got to give that to it too. Through that support, it was just unreal. Amazing the support you found.
So now did you have to change your diet? Is there anything else that your doctor said, hey, not only get your blood flowing, get out there doing exercise, is there any other thing that you could say the doctor was like specifically this?
I have changed my diet. I'll have some Chick-fil-A once in a while, but for 5 years...
And of course it's Sunday, so...
I haven't been through a drive-through in 5 years, where before working the road or working out there, you're running for 12, 15 hours, 3-4 meals a day out of the drive-through, and I haven't been through a drive-through since.
So what do you eat? Are you on any sort of strict diet?
No,
or are you just
I'm not
better?
on a strict diet. I need to be.
Right.
But I'm just eating better. I try to watch what I eat. I try to stay away from processed foods. I mean, it's hard to, but I try my best. And if there's a better choice, I'm going to choose it.
But you're not doing like keto or any of these things. You're just trying to make better decisions.
Better decisions. I eat too much. I like my food. If you put it on my plate, I'm going to eat it.
That's the Italian.
You're Italian.
That is the Italian.
Yeah, I'm a clean plate club guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's also that's being raised by an Italian woman. Because if not, you're not leaving the.
My mom was actually Irish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
was Italian.
Okay, so I'm going to go with an Irish woman. I'm just going to change what I said.
But she can cook anything. Right. You know what I mean? She
Lots of
made
potatoes.
She made the best Italian food. That's why my father was with her.
Right.
So you're Italian and Irish?
Yeah.
Oh man, you can't mess up at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But she could cook anything. You gave her a Latin dish to cook, it was perfect. You gave her an Italian dish to cook, it was perfect. She could cook anything. But
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. So am I. But
Yeah, I am gonna hit a drive-through on the way home. You may not.
So other than what other tips did the doctor give you? Well, here you are.
Well, they give you like a whole list of basically, watch your diet, and basically it's what comes down to: watch your diet and exercise. I mean, we're plagued in this world today with
gadgets and
not gadgets, but like not pesticides, but preservatives and all this bad stuff in our food that it's hard to. It's like we don't even know what we're eating anymore.
And the sad part is, I think a lot of people would eat more organic if it wasn't so expensive.
So I was talking to somebody about that the other day. You buy a head of broccoli, or you feed 3 people in your family through the drive-through for the same price.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
that's an issue that I've always seen as being a United States problem. We want people to have a healthier lifestyle. We push the healthier lifestyle all the time. The workout market alone. I mean, think about marketing, buying clothes, buying all the things that they do. None of that's cheap. And you get back to the basic people that I always look. There's this guy who runs near my house, and he's the dude that wears like just a standard sweat shorts, and if he has a shirt on, it's just like a little standard white T-shirt. And I'm like, that dude is probably the most basic athlete I see, because most of the people you see on Facebook are like, all right, we have to be wearing this. We have to have that type of yoga pants. We have to have that.
You got to get the most expensive shoes.
And let me tell you, Redbird looks terrible in yoga pants.
You got to look good out there.
No, there is no. It is horrible.
Yeah,
you got to look good out there running.
Yeah,
right.
and
it is kind of a fashion show. It's not just
like
let's
for
go
me,
it's a scene. It's legitimately a scene.
Absolutely.
Like you do the biker stuff, and you go up to Daytona. There's a scene that's up there. There is a workout scene.
Right. Well, it's like that for everything.
Yeah.
But for me, I gotta have nice clothes when I'm running, because when people pass me and go, man, that guy's going slow, but
he looks good.
Damn, them A6 though. That's the new.
He must be serious. He has $300 sneakers on right now.
He must know what he is doing.
Yeah, he must know how terrible he is. But in that picture, in that one picture that they take of you as you cross the finish line, you're like,
right. I'm the one that they're like, well, at least he's out there trying.
That's a funny thing too you bring up, because I see these pictures of me coming across the finish line like when I first started, and I was just worn out, mouth breathing, I couldn't, and now I come across smiling. You know what I mean? So I could see the difference.
And talking, because again, now I finished 20 minutes after him, but I got down.
But that whole
and Chris is like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing? Come here, take a picture. Come here, look at this. Look at this. Come here. Hey, how's everything going? Where's it? Dude, I'm gonna go over here and die. Give me like 10 minutes.
I got this picture. Me and Maria decided we were gonna do the Jingle Bell 2 miler this one year.
That's an awesome run.
Yeah, and so we go do the Jingle Bell 2 miler. Well, you know how I am.
You might like that.
Yeah,
I have
flashy lights and
flashy lights.
It's only 2 miles.
It distracts me.
And
so
it's
I
only
think
2
about
miles,
how silly running is.
Exactly, and how much pain I'm in. So I'm running, and I'm one of those ones that's like, hey, so what's going on, Maria? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, shut up. Stop talking to me. I don't like to do this. Well, we get to the end, and like the photo, like I'm like, and she's like,
that's a progression I've seen through my photos, which is
I'm in no better shape. I'm in no better shape. I just know when the camera's coming, I'm like,
You're the guy on the roller coaster who knows when the picture's coming, so you on stage, and then after that, you're back to,
that's me. I'm like, woo, okay, all right, okay, everything. How's my pulse? How's my pulse?
Right.
But then the camera comes, I'm like, how's it going, Jesse? How's it going over there?
So you're doing running, you're doing triathlons now?
Not triathlon. I'm not going to say triathlons, but I've been doing triathlon sprints, which is a shorter distance.
Still,
there's plans in the near future to do a full triathlon, but I'm not going to say it out loud to everybody yet, because then that's a total commitment.
But you did a sprint triathlon this morning, correct?
This morning, yeah, Cocoa Village. So
what is a sprint triathlon?
It is a quarter-mile swim, a 12 to 15 mile bike ride, and then a 5K run.
Okay.
Quarter mile. Where did you? Is Cocoa Village in the river?
Right off the boat ramp.
Right off the boat ramp.
Actually, the water was really warm, and it wasn't that bad.
That's the radiation, Chris. So, which part do you not like to do?
Yeah, I like it all, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not an athlete, like I said before, but the swimming was my hardest part, and actually I did the Cocoa Beach Triathlon last month, which was also a sprint. But probably a week before that, with my swim training, I started feeling comfortable. You know, I'm not fast, but I was comfortable. Like, even this morning when I was done with the swim, I felt like I could have kept going. Where last year when I did one, felt like sharks were eating me. You know what I mean? I'm just splashing and sharks eating me and biting me. That's what I felt like.
Well, in my head, you're thinking, all right, it's a quarter-mile swim. How far is that? But then then I start thinking a little long. I'm like, no, that's a long-ass swim.
And not only that, then, like, there's motion in the water.
Well, and you've got all the other people.
And,
you know, I've seen things.
And you can't see because the water's all cloudy.
Yeah. Right. So I'll tell you this.
Are you wearing a Speedo when you're doing this? Or are you wearing like
that's
long,
how I imagine him.
Right.
No.
You got
I guess you would call it a singlet.
Singlet.
Yeah.
So
Nice
I've worn singlets before. Yeah, once or twice.
Nice and tight. So.
For those who don't work out, it's also known as a onesie. So a few years back, my dad cycles all the time.
Mm-hmm.
My sister runs all the time. So they said, we're going to do a family triathlon. You're going to do the swim.
You're going to do this.
So I was like, all right. At that time, I was surfing all the time. So, you know what?
What's 2 miles?
No, it wasn't even that long. It was like a quarter mile.
Right. It was probably
a
sprint.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, what's the difference? You know, I mean, they're not having a board underneath me shouldn't be too bad. Shouldn't be too different. Let me tell you, I came out of that. I went in.
Oh, you didn't even train for it. You just showed up.
I think I went swimming like twice.
You swam a couple laps in the pool.
As I remember, I think my sister did the first leg, and then I had to do the second leg. So my sister came in like pretty good, and they had me go jump in the water. And by the time I came out, that 80-year-old woman that I was chasing the first time, she was the only one behind me when we got out of the water. And I remember my mom was still alive at the time, and I went for this oak tree, and you have to take that ankle thing off and hand it. So I had to hand it to my dad. I don't even remember taking it off. I think he took it off me. And I laid at the foot of this oak tree, and my mom was like, are you okay? And I was like, just carve my name in this tree and throw some dirt over me. I was so anaerobic. And then you watch all these people, they just pop out. And they're just on to the next. And I'm like, how do you even do that? I can't even think about getting on a bike right now.
Dude, they're so they do a big one in Clearwater. It's an Ironman, right?
Yeah,
but they do a half Ironman.
They do a half Ironman in Clearwater.
And we've got
Claremont.
No, it's Clearwater. They might do one in Claremont too, but there's a big one in Clearwater. And my wife, when we first met, lived in Clearwater, so I was over there one week when they did it. So we went downtown to watch it, and I mean, these people they're freaks. I don't know how you do it. Seriously?
Yeah.
We're in an enclosed room, man.
No, it was my finger on the chair, bro.
Right.
I can do it again. See? I forget how loud things are in here.
And it all gets picked up on the microphone.
It's all on mic. But no, it's funny. Back to
I have the nervous part.
That's why I take the wooden chair. It doesn't through. Right.
So back to the dying coming out of the water. I think it was 2 years ago I did the Cocoa Village one, and I came out of the water, and my wife's standing there, and she's like, you quit? And I'm like, what? She's like, you quit? And I'm like, no. She's like, well, you need to go. Because I was just standing there, you know.
You come out, you're like dazed. You're like, oh, what's next? And they're like, I remember my dad being like, take the bracelet off. And I'm like, what? What bracelet? That thing on your ankle. Give me the damn bracelet. Meanwhile, he makes up like all of the time, and we come in like third overall. And I was like, I came back and I had like a trophy. And I'm like, what happened? So, and the funny part was when I had to do that run through Wickham Park where it was just me and the old lady, I didn't realize there was like 5 people in my group, and I finished second. So I have this trophy. There's like this little bobbleheaded runner, and my sister didn't get one. So
she's pissed.
So I was like, check it out, everybody. I came in second. And they were like, how many people were in your class? I'm like, 2. I don't know.
So we did the Carrie Ann DeMont 5K a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And, I knew that.
We both got thirds.
No.
Oh, you got a first?
I got a first.
Oh, huh.
Yes. Well, so they're doing the awards. I'm like, all right, well, maybe Kinley and Trent will get something because it's in there.
Oh, that's right. Your whole family took first, second, third.
Because I didn't see any other 5-year-olds out there running, so there's a good chance that Trent's get. So we'll hang out and we'll wait and see what happens. So all of a sudden they're like, and in first place in the 35 to 39 category, Chris Cardinal. I'm like, what? Okay. I mean, I'll take it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm going to take it. It's displayed proudly on the mantle.
And they were like, and there is no second or third place.
Right.
Chris was the only one in his class. Congratulations,
Nobody
Chris.
else has to know that, right?
Yeah, that's why I have my bobblehead still.
It doesn't matter how many people are there. So,
Yeah, I made sure to rub that in. Gallo said, well, yeah, it's a third, huh? He's like, overall. I'm like, but this is first overall for my class. So,
I got third over. I got first in my age group, but they wouldn't give that to me. They said the third overall is better than the first. And I said, well, I think I want the first. They're like,
I want both
no.
of them.
They said, if you run Boston and you get first in your age group or third overall, what do you want? I said, I want the first. They said, no, don't work like that.
You want the overall.
You want the overall. So
That's crazy. So now here you are. You go what every 6 months for?
every 6. Well, yeah, it's kind of staggered. Every 6 months, I see the oncologist. Once a year, I got to go see the surgeon. The radiologist, I haven't seen him. He doesn't want to see me anymore, which is a good thing. So,
when you go for your checkups, are they doing mammograms all over again, or what are they doing?
No, I haven't had a mammogram since, so it's just more of a, I guess it goes down to all blood work, and they review all my blood work, and she does a physical inspection. And
So for that time you're waiting for the blood work to come back, are you stressed out waiting?
It's always gets stressful.
Do they give you a % chance of any reoccurrence or anything coming back when you were done after the first time?
They did, they broke it all down. I don't remember what the percentages are because that's not something I want to focus on,
Right.
So
You focus on the glass being half empty, then you don't get to live a life.
not even that, just right. I'm not even focusing on the glass. Leave the glass over there. I don't need it.
Right.
Right. So
Now, obviously, we've been friends a while. I follow you on social media. I see all the different things you're doing. What are you doing now as far as advocating?
things like this right here. Any chance I get, I'll post something on Facebook. If there's an event I can go to and talk about male breast cancer, I'll go talk about it. Just whatever I can do about it today. And you said somebody already commented like they learned today. That's my goal. Somebody today found out that males can get breast cancer.
No, we always talk about it during the podcast, but the goal of the podcast is to give guys like you the opportunity to tell their story. Whether we get 1,500 views or 3,000 views on the podcast, we hope that we are able to reach somebody and that somebody learns something, because we do have the people in this community that are leading, that have a great story, and you're one of them. You are a reason why the community is great and why Chris and I come together and bring people in to discuss whether it's anything. We talk drug rehab, we talk PTSD, we've talked all these different things, but there are people right here that are going to hear your story, and they're going to say, I went through the same thing, or I'm going through the same thing right now.
So with that, I mean, even if somebody says, wow, I wish he had some more facts or, could answer more questions about it, could always check out, and there's another group that is way supportive, is the Male Breast Cancer Coalition, and you can find them on Facebook, hashtag Men Have Breasts Too, but it's a lady named Peggy Miller and her son Brett and Sherry Ambrose. There's a whole bunch of people involved, but Brett Miller, I think he was 17 when he found the lump in his chest. Oh. And I think they just let him go. It's nothing. So I think he was 23 or 24 when they diagnosed him.
Wow. So
him and his mother and some other people started the Male Breast Cancer Coalition, and they connected. I'm connected with so many male breast cancer people. It's unreal, where before I felt like I was in my small world because male breast cancer, who knows about that? Stop making jokes. Well, they know, so kind of little comforting,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To know there's people out there that are.
Oh no, I mean, I can tell you that what I've learned from you, I to this day I'm still blown away at the fact that I was 35 years old and had no idea that there was male breast cancer. So when I see your stories and just everything you went to, when you did the photo shoot, I thought that was awesome. I mean, here you are, you're like freshly scarred up.
Yeah, I've done some actually cool stuff. Some of it hasn't went anywhere. Like that one photo shoot, was that a black and white photo you have up there? Yeah. Okay, that was from a fashion photographer, pretty famous guy named David J. And that was he did a project called the Scar Project, which was all about young women and breast cancer, and just the images, kind of brought it to life. He's done some really good stuff, so if you check him out too. But they were doing a documentary on male breast cancer. It actually never went anywhere, But I went up to New York and had this whole interview and did that photo shoot with him.
You know what? Maybe the project didn't go anywhere, but as far as that photo,
Well,
I mean, that is something that like resonates with me all the time. You know, when I think about what people go through, that photo comes to mind. When I think about breast cancer, a couple of our friends, obviously, we know a few that we could probably name off the top of our head right now that have recently gone through the female aspect of breast cancer, and they had the bilateral mastectomies, and to know that was my vision. Obviously, I'm not going to see them like that, but I saw you. But that was my vision in their mind of what they were going through and what they were going to have to do, not only physically but mentally.
Yep. And and that's what I was hitting before, where they sell it as a woman's disease, but they also paint it pink, and that photo shows you it's not. It's not pink. There's nothing pretty about it. There's nothing. I mean, and I'm not a body image person. I mean, if you were, I'm assuming, a female with body image, and you have to go through that and have those scars. I mean, that could be.
No, I mean, and even then, I mean, we talk about it, but what the news pushes and what social media pushes and TMZ pushes is all about this prettiness, and sometimes life isn't pretty.
That's right.
Sometimes life isn't pretty. I think the people in this room, we've seen a lot of unpretty life, but we also understand that there is beauty in a lot of things. We talked about the glass being half empty, glass being half full. There's a mindset that you can come into, and what I think you've done with your treatments has turned that into an awareness, a strength lesson, a leadership lesson. And you were always been one of the guys that works, but you're not going to be standing on the soapbox doing your thing, and that changed. Now you get out there and you do something because you know that you're not the only one, and that other people can learn from this, and including a 35-year-old guy sitting in his office getting told a story from somebody that at first I thought was a joke. You know?
No, absolutely, I agree with you there. And like you said before, what actually pushes me and things like that. Actually, when you mentioned a couple other people that that went through it, that we know that went through it, when they looked at me for questions and inspiration, I mean that helps drive me and helps push it out there. And
no, I mean there's I mean, how many stories do we read? For me, dealing with St. Baldrick's and the children's cancer awareness, and you don't know what it's like until you've personally gone through it, or until you've actually seen it firsthand. And I mean, I remember taking a tour with Garrett Lamp and Missy Elwood, and we went through Arnold Palmer's. And I remember there was a child in there that was in a playroom, and loss of hair, probably maybe 3 or 4 years old. And the child was not only obviously getting treatment for cancer, they were full Down syndrome. And, the mother was doing everything that she could. And I was like, oh, my gosh, that mother has to have so much strength right now, to be dealing with all this, not only the cancer treatment, but obviously the learning curve with some of the Down syndrome aspects of it, of how do you keep a child entertained while they got to sit there and get those treatments done, and how does that child understand what's going on? And for me, that's a driving force for why we do shows like this and discuss topics, because to let people that know they're not alone, to let people know that there are others out there who they can get guidance from, that they can go on a Facebook page and go to what was the coalition page we were talking about?
Male Breast Cancer Coalition.
And say, okay, hey, maybe I'm not the only one. Yeah, maybe there's only 1% of us a year that this happens to, but guess what? There's 1%, and I can talk to them. And for me, that's why Chris and I show up, and that's why we talk to guys like you. Now, I know we're getting ready to wrap everything up, but I wanted your final comments.
My final comments.
Make them thoughtful, Gallo.
I don't got time to think. It's cutting down on time, close to the clock here. Man, I want to thank you guys for having me on here and let me talk about it.
Oh, absolutely.
I am blessed that I was able to come through this the way I did, and to keep pushing every day, and try to live so I could live better tomorrow, I guess would be.
That's awesome. And for all you people out there that are going through it, realize you're not alone.
Hey, real quick, do you have any
I do. I got
fundraisers or any events?
I got to mention, talking about all the running.
Yeah, talk about stuff. I got stuff.
Yep. I love trail running. I mean, that's my thing, and we have some awesome trails here in Brevard County. And
Apparently, you have to watch out for coral snakes, or what did you run across last week? A couple baby
pygmy rattlers.
pygmy rattlers. That's a venomous snake, Steve.
It is, but they're little
It
venom.
sounds like
So-
a venomous snake.
So basically, with the For the Girls Charity Fund and I think it's Avtech Homes, we put together a trail running series for 2020. So if you go to runningspacecoasttrails.com, you'll find the website, and we got 4 trail runs here local. One's in Keaningsville, which is outside of the county a little, but
It's a nice area though.
yeah,
Old Florida.
Forever Florida.
Yeah.
So that's an
cool.
awesome trail. We're doing one Malabar Scrub Sanctuary, Wickham Park Trails, and Fox Lake Park Trails.
Oh wow.
And they're all on the single track trails, which are absolutely gorgeous. You get out there, you connect with nature.
Yeah.
You get to jump over some snakes. But don't be scared of the snakes, because those are the first 2 I've seen with all my trail running. So
And what I'll do is I'll get that website from you, and I'll post it up on the Facebook page later so people can track it down. Chris,
Are you going to go out there and do some trail running, Steve?
You know,
Will you
I
commit?
run Wickham Park. You know I run.
even if you
Wickham Park.
come out there and walk those trails, it's just a whole
Are they
different
early in the
perspective.
morning?
Yeah,
Most of them.
It's
one
hot
of
in
them.
the
One of them.
afternoon.
One of them. The last one's an evening run.
Where's that at?
That's the one in Keaningsville, which isn't far.
Dude, Keaningsville is very nice too. If you've never been out there,
Yeah.
the Forever Florida Ranch thing is out there.
That's where it is. It's
I
in
do
Forever, Florida.
enjoy running at night. I will waddle with you, Chris, if you would like to.
Will you
waddle.
run in the woods though?
I'll run in the woods.
Yeah, you got to come out
not
for all
scared
of
of the
them.
woods.
You got to come out and do
There's
the
like
whole
insects
series.
and
I'm gonna be,
snake.
but just in case, you never know, a bobcat could come out
That's right.
or a Sasquatch.
That is skunk ape territory.
It is. Did you know?
You're going back to the first podcast you guys did talking about the skunk ape.
It is
No,
what we
so-
every podcast
So,
winds up there
so
somehow.
let me ask you this: have you ever seen a Sasquatch while you're running?
I have not.
Goes back to my theory, Christopher. Anyway,
Yeah.
did you know that Chris is the only person I know who cried at the end of Harry and the Hendersons?
I'm gonna leave you with that thought.
All right. Well, once again, thank everybody for listening. Jesse for doing your thing, and tune in to Space Coast Podcast for all the other shows that go on.
And we'll be back next week. We're
Yeah,
not
we'll be
taking
back next week.
Whoa.
How to do the voice.
Yeah, did you pull your man parts out? We're going to get back to you this week. You're able to use your big boy voice?
And with that, we're out of here.
Thank you.